The movie opens right in the middle of a disaster. We meet a news reporter, all serious and buttoned up, who's interviewing this scientist named Marshall. And oh man, the news Marshall has is bleak. There's only one option left for the planet, and that's time travel. The reporter, naturally, starts to giggle uncontrollably. Why? Because Marshall has completely wasted 500 million of the government's money. He has absolutely nothing to show for it. Well, almost nothing. Marshall holds up a book, a physical book, and proudly declares that all of his research is in it. He's trying to promote it, right there on live TV. The reporter just lays into him, saying that famous scientists are laughing at him. Marshall is completely humiliated and leaves. But the reporter keeps bad-mouthing him, just tearing into Marshall's credibility. Then, you won't believe it, Marshall comes back. He lunges and starts attacking the reporter. The reporter panics and sprays Marshall right in the face with some kind of aerosol spray, and this is all being broadcast live. That's the end of Marshall's career as a respected scientist. We jump ahead 3 years. Marshall has managed to come up with his time travel element, a device he calls the tachyon. He's actually figured out how to make a device called a tachometer. But where is he giving his presentation? To a packed room of enthusiastic young children. That's right, he went from a disgraced government scientist to a science teacher. It's during one of these classes that a young lady named Holly approaches him. She introduces herself as an archaeology student, and she is starstruck. She tells him, "After reading your book, I'm quite impressed." Only a true scientist would do a study on the tachyon meter. Marshall, a little defensive, just says, "The rest of the world is laughing at me while you admire me." He's about to leave, but Holly stops him. She hands him a stone, an artifact she found in the desert. She says it's 30,000 years old, but get this, it still has a lighter mark on it. She also found a crystal in the same area that creates an outburst of pure energy. Marshall holds the stone, and for a moment, his own lighter fixes onto it. It's a sign. After meeting Holly a second time and hearing her whole theory, Marshall is totally convinced. He stays up all night and builds the tachyon meter. Is it effective? They have to find out. They go back to the desert where Holly found the crystal, right in the middle of nowhere, somewhere on the America-Mexico border. All that's there is this run-down shop, and a guy named Will is running it. Marshall tells Will that there's a secret cave nearby, and they need to go through it. Will's friend shows up, so Will asks him to watch the shop. "I'll accompany this traveler to show him around the hidden cave," he says. So, the three of them go in. Holly has a tachyon energy meter, and Marshall has his actual tachyon meter device. The cave is flooded, so they have to use a boat. Will, steering, starts giving them the rundown. "It's super dangerous. They say there are lizard-like aliens in here." Sure enough, as they enter the depths of the cave, they see what looks like a lizard alien. But wait, it's just a lizard on a string. Will's little prank. But just then, the tachyon meter on Marshall's wrist starts to beep. He rotates it, and a tremendous earthquake hits. Their boat sinks into a deep pit. Marshall opens his eyes, and he's in the middle of a desert. But it's not their desert. Holly opens a door and sees a massive ship. The sky has 3 moons visible, and it's daytime. They've arrived in a new world. Things around them start to tumble and shake because of the energy from Marshall's device. The tachyon meter is working. Marshall is absolutely elated, dancing with joy, but their celebration is cut short. They notice 3 monkey men creatures that look like a mix of man and monkey. 2 of them are busy trying to assassinate their third companion. Marshall, Holly, and Will start shouting. The 2 attackers leave the victim, but then they turn and approach them. Will, trying to be tough, attempts to scare them off by burning his lighter. Instead, the monkeys grab his hand, burn it, steal his lighter, and run off. The third monkey man, the one who was almost killed, comes out of hiding. Holly, putting her hand on her chest, introduces herself. He clearly likes her, because he introduces himself as Cha-Ka. Marshall notices injuries on Cha-Ka's feet. When Marshall tries to help him, Cha-Ka throws sand in Marshall's eyes and runs off. He's not totally trusting yet. The 3 of them pursue him, but then the ground literally opens up. They all fall into a massive desert trench filled with skeletons. Marshall and Will are still scaring Cha-Ka a bit, so he hides next to Holly, who tells him, "He's our commander." Cha-Ka goes back to Marshall. Just then, tree roots shoot out, wrap around their feet, and hang them in the air. They realize the trees are eating them alive by confining them. They start swinging by grabbing each other's hands to try and stay alive. Suddenly, a massive dinosaur enters the cave. Instead of eating them, it cuts the tree's roots. When the roots break, Marshall and the others fall to the ground and run. Holly, realizing the scope of this discovery, starts filming, thinking she'll reveal everything when she gets back to Earth. But the dinosaur is chasing them. They run and cross a rickety bridge. Chaka, quick thinking, sets aside the other side of the bridge. The dinosaur can't cross, so it gives up. Marshall, ever the scientist, says, "The brain of a dinosaur is similar to a walnut." Bad move, Marshall. The dinosaur hears Marshall, or maybe it just saw them, and leaps across the trench to them. Terrified, they run again, crossing another bridge and entering a small cave. The dinosaur can't follow and just glares at Marshall before leaving. They decide to spend the night there, worrying that the dinosaur will just wait outside to attack them. But then, they hear a radio. Chaka turns it on, and they find the skeletons of the previous owners of the radio. Marshall says he'll sleep outside, while the rest sleep inside. But Will, growing fond of the monkey man, says, "Chaka will sleep with us too." Holly talks to Chaka in his native language, and they learn that Chaka is the ruler of their kingdom, and his two companions are trying to assassinate him to take control. Will brings a large box to seal the cave entrance. Marshall, confident, says there's no need to be scared because the dinosaur has the brain of a walnut. Then, a huge noise. They look outside, and standing there is a giant walnut, being watched from a distance by the dinosaur. The walnut-brained dinosaur is real. The next day, Marshall is recording his final log. His camera battery is almost dead, and they're out of food. Marshall records on his tape, "If the food is over, they'll eat Chaka." A moment later, everyone comes inside, and Chaka brings them fruit. Marshall is instantly ashamed of what he recorded and starts eating a fruit. But as he does, venomous ants crawl out and start biting him. While all this is going on, they notice a peculiar light coming from the jungle. Marshall is convinced that an alien is calling him. He stands up and rushes off to help the alien. Will tells Holly, "He's definitely gone insane since arriving here, so I'll go fix his mind." Everyone tries to stop him, but he goes, too. In the forest, they stop, seeing a bra mat-shaped crystal. Marshall and Will are about to touch it when Chaka points to frog-like statues in the area. Chaka tries to communicate with the statues in his language. Suddenly, aliens arrive and surround them. Their eyes are frog-like and their bodies are lizard-like. They're coming to end them. Holly spins her belt buckle, which rotates and causes sunlight to shine on the statues. The crystal's entrance opens and they run inside. The aliens are unable to follow. They've reached another dimension. Inside, a lizard-like creature approaches Marshall and asks for his help. He says he was kidnapped by the other aliens and he touched the crystal. A hologram appears, showing another alien. This alien tells them that the first one is the one who wants to take over the planet and be in charge of everything. The second alien says he tried to stop him but was kidnapped. This alien's next target is Earth. He begs them to save him and the planet. Marshall assures him he will be saved. Marshall touches the crystal, and everything shakes. The alien warns that if these crystals are misplaced, several doorways will open, and a large number of aliens will enter. They need the tachyon meter to save the good alien. They go back outside to get the device. Marshall, wanting to avoid the dinosaur, displays a yellow liquid in a canteen. "It is dinosaur urine," he claims, "and if we sprinkle it or drink it, the dinosaur will not notice us." He splatters it all over his body, and then, claiming it needs to be in their bloodstream, he drinks it. 5 minutes later, his eyes burn and his nose is blocked. The strategy failed. Chaka screams and summons them, taking them to a new location. Things have fallen from the sky here. An ice cream truck has fallen, and tiny dinosaurs are attacking it. The ice cream vendor is throwing ice cream in their faces. Suddenly, a massive dinosaur appears, the one who was chasing them. They manage to separate its head from its body. But there's also a female dragon there. The two dinosaurs start fighting each other. Marshall, observing the brawl, confidently claims they don't appear to be looking in any direction. Guess what happens next? The dinosaurs instantly pursue them. Marshall runs in a zigzag pattern, but the dinosaur grabs him and pushes him aside. The female dragon also chases him. He hides in a car, but the dragon knows he's there. She climbs up, but Marshall manages to flee. He notices a nitrogen cylinder nearby and grabs it. He instructs his companions to get the antique stone-throwing machine ready. They load the cylinder into the machine, throw it, and it lands right in the female dragon's mouth. She instantly freezes and falls. Her body then shatters into a million pieces. Just then, the tachyon meter starts to ring. They see it, positioned right in the center of the shattered dinosaur's body. But before they can grab it, a flying dinosaur appears and flies away with the equipment. Marshall sits down, exhausted. Holly tells him to find it. "I've been defeated before. I won't be able to do it again," Marshall says. Holly gives him a powerful speech. "We should try. When the rest of the world was laughing at you, I had put my faith in your book. As a result, I've been kicked out of university. Now, I believe the world is correct in assuming you are a comedian rather than a scientist." Ouch! They sleep under a tree that night. Chaka tells Will about his kingdom, saying the ladies have pleasant personalities and meet all their necessities. As Chaka is talking, Marshall shows up, playing a musical instrument. He tells Holly, "You've opened my eyes. I'm no longer the elder Marshall. Instead, I've evolved into a new Marshall. We'll go look for the tachyon meter tomorrow." He sits down, and a mosquito stings his neck. He's singing, and the mosquito flies away, but Marshall suddenly feels vulnerable and tired. He falls to the ground, wondering why he feels this way. He collapses, and we see a gigantic locust was sitting on his back, sucking his blood. As he falls, he crushes the locust. Everyone sleeps there. The next day, Marshall's back is bright red. He gives a motivational lecture, telling them they'll find the tachyon meter. Despite the speech, he's the last one to climb the hill, while the others are already ahead. The hill turns out to be a volcano mountain. At the top, they find the dinosaur's nest, and the tachyon meter is right there. There are also tons of dinosaur eggs. Marshall realizes that if there's a slight noise, the dinosaur will emerge. He tells Will, but Will pretends to be asleep. Marshall decides to go alone. He takes off his shirt, ties a knot in his undershirt, and advances. He wears the tachyon meter. The moment he puts it on, the meter's melody stops, and the eggs start to crack. It turns out the tachyon meter's music was the melody keeping them asleep. The baby dinosaurs wake up, but then, just as quickly, the baby dinosaurs go back to sleep. Next thing you know, they are all swimming in a pool, totally drunk. Chaka is singing songs in his own language. They're having a blast with the tachyon meter, convinced they can now return to their world. Chaka gives them a strange fruit. They think the water inside is coconut and drink it. Chaka reveals it is a hazardous fruit. That explains the inebriation. While they're celebrating, Holly activates the meter, which says there's tachyon energy in the area. She doesn't tell Marshall or Will. She decides to go alone. She moves away and finds a crystal door which she enters, finding a cave. Meanwhile, Marshall and Will are getting hungry. They notice someone approaching, a giant crab coming to devour them. The ground suddenly cracks open and the crab falls inside. The ground then gives way to a hot water shower. The crab is essentially cooked, so they proceed to eat it. Marshall, feeling emotional, kisses Chaka, saying, "I've always thought you were wrong." Holly, in the cave, sees a lot of dinosaur eggs and decides to take one. Suddenly, the alien hologram appears again, but this time the alien says, "If anyone is observing me, pay close attention. The other alien is trapping me by accusing me of wrong. He is actually the one who wants to occupy the Earth." Just then, the other alien appears and ends the first one with a laser beam. His dead body is left there. Holly realizes she's been tricked. When she tries to exit the cave, the lizard-like aliens capture her. Will and Marshall regain their senses and go looking for Holly. They enter the cave and see the lizard-like aliens busy with each other. After a while, the aliens peel off their skin. Marshall and Will take this opportunity to wear the discarded skin. Holly, meanwhile, is hanged over a pit of lava. The alien invaders surround her, claiming she tried to help the wicked alien and now she must die. When Will and Marshall learn this, they peel off their alien skins and declare that if assisting the evil alien was a crime, they should be punished too. The aliens explain the real story. The evil alien is trying to take over the planet and humans. They had imprisoned him, but Marshall and Holly helped him. Therefore, all three will be penalized. Marshall and Will fight back, throwing the aliens one by one into the lava. Marshall leaps onto Holly's cage to save her, but as the cage is about to collapse, they jump to safety and the cage falls into the lava. Holly tells Marshall, "We've aided the evil alien. You made a blunder by sending Chaka to him." The evil alien arrives with his companions, holding the tachyon meter. He shows a hologram of Earth, boasting that his comrades are experts at making children. He declares, "While sending my aliens to Earth, humans like you will be annihilated by me." Suddenly, the massive dinosaur appears. Marshall says, "They're here to take me," he tells Holly, and, "Will they can take it from here?" He tells Holly, "I don't love you," and throws a stone at her. He's trying to drive them away. Will leaves too. Will then stands in front of the dinosaur with a wooden rod. Marshall leaps from the rod, but instead of landing on the dinosaur, he enters right through its mouth. Holly, witnessing this, screams in anger. She starts throwing stones at the dinosaur, yelling, "I've fallen in love with a human, and you've eaten him." From there, the dinosaur departs. Holly decides she will travel the world, keeping the tachyon meter, and inform everyone about Marshall's accomplishments. She starts attacking the aliens by spinning her belt, ending a few of them, but soon a swarm surrounds her. Will is fighting too, holding Cha-Ka, but then Will is captured by the aliens. Just when all seems lost, we see a huge dinosaur nearby, with Marshall riding it. The dinosaur advances, ending all the aliens. Marshall lowers himself from its tail. His companions ask how he's been alive since the dinosaur ate him. Marshall says the first step is to figure out how to use the tachyon meter. Saying this, they enter the wicked alien's dimension. The evil alien has opened the Earth portal. A fight breaks out between Marshall and the evil alien. Will wants to help, so he pounces on them, but they both move aside. He hits the ground, and his vibrations cause a crystal to move from its place. The Earth's gateway starts to close. As the door closes, Marshall pulls the broken crystal locket from Holly's pocket and uses it to fix the main crystal. The Earth's door is ready to close. They must leave. The evil alien grabs Will's feet. "Wouldn't you take your friend?" he says to Marshall. Will performs a U-turn and grabs the alien. He orders Marshall to leave, saying, "I've decided to make this my home. Everything Cha-Ka told me about his kingdom was positive. I don't want to sit on that idol shop again." Marshall and Holly leave and head straight for the cave. Will's friend asks them where Will is. They tell him he's moved on to a better place. On the other side, Cha-Ka and Will arrive at Cha-Ka's kingdom. Everyone is delighted. Young ladies approach them, and Will finds them very attractive. Will is ecstatic. On Earth, Marshall becomes famous after discovering time travel. He reappears in the same TV interview where he was ridiculed at the beginning of the film. He has documented all his research in his new book. He suggests the reporter read it. When the reporter sees the title, he becomes enraged and attacks Marshall. And that's how the movie ends, with a funny, chaotic bang.